release, there are tons of bugs. What's up? Oh my god, what's up with my void storage? And it feels quite horrible to have
Dude, people still use void storage? Why?
your in-game performance be worse, because of something that shouldn't exist. So I decided to spend the last few days looking through every single talent tree, in hope to find as many bugs as possible to be fixed.
Damn, he's actually doing a great job. I wanted to make a video like this too, where I invite a bunch of people, and they just send me clips of all the bugs, and then we try to ship it to Blizz as fast as possible, so these problems are fixed before Dragonflight, but he's doing it, so I'm glad.
In this video, we'll look through the Paladin, Death Knight, and Warrior trees. If you know that I missed any bugs, or you got any you want to share for your class, please leave a comment, and I'll add it in a future video. Also, at the end, I'll go through spells that are not exactly
Unpaid
bugs,
testing? Yeah,
but
we're
are more
actually
likely
unpaid
oversight.
testing.
Let us start with Retribution Paladin. They have
Okay.
two bugs in their tree. First, we have the Sanctified Ground, which makes you unable to be slowed below 80% movement speed while you stand in your consecration. The bug is, if you cast your consecration and then remove the talent, you'll keep Sanctified Ground permanently on you. This
What? Yo. He should have kept that low key, man. Wait, that's low key right there.
includes chaining specialization, so you can pretty much have a better depth advance permanently.
Okay.
I'm free. I bugged it up.
What have you done?
What?
Wait, what did you do?
Have you got permanent sacrifice?
No way, that's
Yeah.
insane.
I can't be slow below 80%, I'm the better deacon now. Even if you slow me, I think I'm faster. You can try. I am faster.
Why?
Check my buff, I
Losing.
used it on you. You little cheaters. No wonder these paladins don't get hamstringed when I... Dude.
This bug might feel a bit bad, to be honest. And if any Blizz devs see the video,
Yo. I should have kept this low key, you know what I'm saying?
it should probably be a feature. It would solve the Paladin wheelchair meme at least.
Oh
I
my
could be as
god,
slow
that
as
is
a protection
insane.
paladin.
Chat, I don't think this is a bug. I think this is meant to be. This is a paladin class design. When you pick a paladin, you just get that passively. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. The second bug in the tree is that Crusade, which on its own
Dude,
is
Rextroy
supposed to
reminds
increase
me
your
of
haste for each
Arzander.
stack, actually increases the damage on as well, even when you haven't spec'd into Avenging Wrath in the general tree. For example, here is Consecration damage at 10 stacks of Crusade, with Avenging Wrath talented. It is about 320.
What do you mean, Gek?
And here is Consecration damage at 10
You're
stacks,
the magnet.
without Avenging Wrath talented. Still the same. Even when the two...
You know what's insane, gentlemen? We have 7 days until this game comes out. And, there's this many bugs still.
says it's only supposed to grant haste, so you get the benefit of Avenging Wrath without even talenting it.
Okay.
The last bug is probably a tooltip bug. It is Ashes to Ashes. That says Seraphim gives you 4% haste, crit and versa. But when the buff is granted to you, it is the full benefit of a normal Seraphim, which is 8%. Now, let us move to Protection Paladins. This is by far the most buggy spec. First, we have Avenging Shield, which procs Precognition on enemy casters in PvP. Precognition is only supposed to proc when you get interrupted while not currently casting.
No, I see some Avenged Shield is not an interrupt or a silence at all. It still procs that as if it was an interrupt. So every single Avenged Shield I do, that's why it's used in PvP, because you're giving the enemy more haste.
But Avenging Shield isn't even an interrupt in PvP. It only works that way against non-player enemies.
Oh.
Even weirder, it gives Precognition while the enemy is casting, which should never be a thing.
Wait, what is that? When he mouse overs?
While the enemy is casting,
Immune to crowd control and haste increased by 15%. Well, what is that?
which should never be a thing.
Immune to
The second bug
CC?
is Blessed Hammer. The damage reduction part of the ability doesn't work. Not in PvE or PvP.
Damage against Rextroy is reduced by 950. Comment log? Nope, not a single thing. It's no difference at all.
The damage from the enemy ability remains the same, and nothing shows in the combat log at all.
They auto-hit me passively for 250, 300, 300. Blessed Hammer applies, and 280, 300.
Completely broken. The third talent is Inner Light, which is a Torrent buff given to you after Shield Righteous expires. This talent too deals no damage at all. Thankfully, the block chance still works.
Dude, I
Okay.
was actually kind of happy when we got this as a red. I was like, oh, I can go sword and board, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it's so bad.
Okay, so 3 abilities in, and we have found 3 bugs already. Then we have Inspiring Vanguard, which gives you 2% additional strength when it procs. Well, it says 2 strength.
Yeah, we're gonna watch the movie
percentage.
right after this chat.
But in reality, it gives 9. You see, it gives you 2% of your base character strength, not your actual strength. So that's another bug. Then we have Bastion of Light, which makes your next holy power spender cost no holy power. The issue with this is that if you have Diamond Purpose currently active, a single holy power spender will consume both Diamond Purpose and Bastion of Light at the same time, wasting one of them.
Oh.
We have a bug with Sentinel, and the PP talent Aura of Reckoning, both which gives you a modified version of Avenging Wrath. If you consume the Reckoning proc, that gives you 6 seconds of Sentinel, it'll replace your original 20-second duration Sentinel, instead of adding to the duration. Another talent bug for PvP is a Gift of the Golden Valkyr, which makes Avenger Shield reduce the cooldown of your Guardian of Ancient Kings for each target hit. Does not work with the modified version of Guardian, the PvP talent Guardian of the Forgotten Queen. Most of the time, abilities that replace something else should fully benefit from modifiers that affected the basic version. Next one, Bulwark of Righteous Fury, cycle up the damage and range of your Shield of Righteous. And at 5 stacks, it says it has more than 30 yards range.
Blizzard
Sadly,
watches this
in
for sure,
practice,
right?
It does not.
Rextroy with his $10
As much
mic.
as I would like to have more than 30 yards
Listen, man,
range
it's
on my
not
main
about the
spell,
mic. It's about
it is
the
most likely
content.
not intended to stack that high, and the tooltip is simply wrong. The last protection pally bug is a Moment of Glory, that is supposed to make you get a shield for 20% of all damage you do, but it is currently bugged and only counting auto hit damage, nothing else. That was a total of 9 bugs for 1 spec. Wow.
Wow.
Now for the last Paladin spec, Holy Paladin, we have 2 smaller ones and 1 large bug. The talent Glimmer of Light, which makes Holy Shock leave a glimmer buff or debuff on targets, will sometimes not proc on future Holy Shocks.
Wait,
which you
Holy
can see-
Paladins get... Holy Paladins get Divine Toll too?
On targets, will sometimes not
Oh,
proc on future Holy
shit.
Shocks. Which you can see in the current clip. Oddly enough, it started to work after debuffing a third target, so it seems inconsistent. The talent Diamond Resonance, which makes Diamond
HP
Tool
has
cast Holy
Summer?
Shock every 5 seconds, will stop casting Holy Shock if you use Diamond Tool offensively, and then have no target. This is a minor bug, since as a healer, you will most of the time have a friendly unit targeted. The major bug in the Holy Tree is that Avenging Crusader, which is supposed to deal 250% of your Judgment, auto hit and Crusader Strike damage
Judgment.
as healing, does much less than it's supposed to.
I like that.
As you can see in the current clip, when I got an 8k Judgment crit, Avenging Crusader only healed for 3k, so it's definitely bugged. Now for the general tree, we have 3 bugs. First, it is Dusk and Dawn.
Okay.
The Blessing of Dawn should increase your healing and damage by 6%, and that's what it does normally. But if your talent Seal an Order, which makes Dawn also boost your holy power spender by 10%,
You telling me this wasn't working the whole time?
somehow buffs your standard 6% Dawn into 10%, which is more than it says it should.
Okay.
This is not a tooltip bug either. It actually makes the performance of Dusk and Dawn much stronger than intended. Then we have Aspiration of Divinity, which makes you get an overlapping main set buff. The bug with this is that it stacks, not overlaps. Every other wording in the game that says overlap usually have each stack drop off independently of each other, such as the case for Ironfur, or even Paladin's own Crusader's Resolve. But this is not the case with Divinity, which makes it a permanent 6% strength buff.
Evoker's a bug too. Stop acting shocked.
The last bug is a minor one, with Obduracy. It's supposed to give you 2% speed and 2% avoidance. This actually gives you 2.7% avoidance, and the speed is reduced by diminishing returns.
Dude, I was reading my
Giving
tier
me
list, or not
1.4%.
tier list.
Not a big deal, but I care about perfection.
My expansion tier
So,
list.
Let us move on to another class.
And everyone was
the
saying,
Death Knight.
Miso's angry
And
the
let us start with
whole
the most game-breaking bug they have.
And
It is in the blood tree.
comments.
Voracious. which increases healing of Deathstrike by 15%.
That's so funny, man.
But truth is, it actually increases minimum healing by a whole 37%.
I
Look
saw
here.
that too. Yeah, I saw that too.
Without a talent, my tooltip on Deathstrike says 7.4%, and it heals for 8.9k. Changing into the talent, the tooltip goes from 7.4% to 10.1%.
Holy, the Death Knight picture looks insane. That guy looks like a Bankai wielder.
And the heal is a massive 12.3k. This is quite a massive oversight, making blood much stronger than it's supposed to be. The second and last blood bug is
Why
the
is that
Titan Grasp,
Bankai
that is supposed to increase the damage of targets affected by Gorfing Grasp by 5%. But this actually increases damage by 10%.
What the fuck, Blizzard?
This is not simply a tooltip issue. As you can see, my damage go up about 10%.
Actually,
than
there was a
Holy Tree.
huge complaint about like Red Paladin abilities too, where they nerfed it in Legion and it came through all the way to Shadowland, and people were pissed about that. And they never fixed it actually.
We first have a bug with Coil of Devastation not working inside arenas. I tested this and can confirm it's true. Okay, so
No.
Coil of Devastation. Death Coil causes the target taking additional 4% of direct damage dealt over 4 seconds. And it did
Doesn't work.
no. But you
I
had
don't have a dot.
but yeah, it doesn't work. Let's try again just after you absorb. No, it doesn't work at all.
Well,
We
Death
have a
Coil
quite
hits
major
double
bug with
now.
Holy Aura. You see, it's supposed to increase the damage down of your minions to targets within 8 yards. The bug is that the second point in the talent only benefits your main pet. All your other pets are stuck with a 10% damage increase, instead of 20%. You can see here my Skulker doing 260 Skulker shot when I'm out of range. And my normal pet does about 350 melee hits.
Dude, that guy's
But
hitting
when
me.
I get closer, with a rank 2
Chungus.
and Holy Aura, my normal pet gets a 20% damage boost to 420. But my Skulker only gets a 10% boost. And the second part of his Skulker shot doesn't even gain any damage boost at all. I tested this with all minions, and they only get the boost from the first point into the talent, which is 10%.
Hmm.
Then we have a bug with Viscera. It does much less damage than the tooltip says. Tooltip says 428, but the damage is considerably less at about 287. Might be some scaling issue. The last bug, dude, if I keep saying bug, I'm gonna lose my mind. Anyway, the last bug for Unholy is a PvP talent, Life and Death. This 5% does not work on all healing, only certain casted heals. You see, in this duel with Ipanic, when he heals himself with a Death Strike, I don't receive any healing at all. Okay, now the question, how much do I heal when you Death Strike me?
Ready?
Yeah, let's go. I heal
I
nothing.
don't see
Whoa.
anything.
No, it's not going up because it doesn't work. It's like, it's still the same. As for Frost Death Knight, I didn't find any real bug with the spec. Hooray!
Wow.
The closest thing is Frost Fever, having you stuck in combat sometimes. In the general tree, we have one large bug and a small one. The big one is Insidious Chill, which reduces enemies' attack speed by up
Insidious
to 20%.
chill.
Well, in reality, this does the exact opposite. It increases the attack speed. You see on these orcs, one of them have the debuff active, which should slow their attack speed. But once their swing is synced, which one hits first, you think? It is the debuffed one. I tested this in PvP combat too, and you see a considerable speed increase if you have the debuff on you. Here are 3 auto hits without a debuff. And here are 3 auto hits with the debuff.
Seems faster. Or
Well, this talent will surely help us survive melee damage, am I right? The last DK bug is a really big one. It is Unholy Bond, which increases the power of your rune forge by 20%. With this talent, my Hysteria should increase my max runic power by 24. But it only adds 23, which is a large oversight, and that extra runic power could sometimes save my Death Knight's life. As for warriors, they have no general talent bug, only spec specific ones. Let us start with Protection Warrior. Unnerving Focus does not increase your rage gain on many abilities, which you can see in the combo log, such as Shockwave, Thunderous Roar, Blood Surge, Instigate, and Avatar. Brace for Impact is misleading. It says it increases the amount of damage blocked by 25%, but in truth it only increases damage blocked by about 10%. It should say increased block value, similar to shield specialization, to be more correct.
I want to see order of Paladin's
Enduring Alacrity
RP with
only
Rextroy
increases armor by
and
3.4%
Savix.
instead of 5%, as the tooltip says. You see my armor go from 5,596 to 5,784, which is a 3.4% increase.
Damn, I remember this mount. This mount was hot.
Before you say it's diminishing returns, Focus Vigor, a very similar talent, makes it go all the way up to 5,875, which is a 5% increase. Armor itself doesn't have any diminishing returns. Dance of Death is supposed to make Ravager last longer after killing an enemy, but it
What do you
doesn't
mean
actually
RP as a
appear to add any
Paladin?
duration at all. At least the amount of ticks I gain remain the same. You can see here without the Dance of Death buff, a Ravager ticks for a total of 6 times. And with the Dance of Death buff, it still only takes 6 times. So something is definitely off with it. Hey, at least the damage increase works on it. Battle Scarred Veteran adds damage reduction when you drop to low health. However, there is no cooldown
I
display
think
on it.
Rextroy plays
so it is hard
EU,
to know
doesn't
when
he?
it's
I
ready
play
again.
NA.
Now for Fury, we have at least 2 bugs in the tree. First is Reckless Abandon, giving you an Empowered Raging Blow. This Empowered Raging Blow, called Crushing Blow, does not work with the PP talent Beltrons. It's a similar bug as with the Paladin Gift of the Golden Valkyrie. Raging Blow, called Crushing Blow, does not work with the PP talent Beltrons. It's a similar bug as with the Paladin Gift of the Golden Valkyrie. Then we have Recklessness, which gives 100% increased rage. This does not work with the talent Onslaught. Onslaught will still only give you further rage, even when Recklessness is active.
Why am I
Last Fury bug is
Pepega?
Tenderize, which says your Onslaught will give you 3 stacks of Slaughtering Strikes. But this is not the case unless you talent into Slaughtering Strikes. Since Slaughtering Strikes is an optional talent, you would expect Tenderize to state that if talented into Slaughtering Strikes, it'll give you 3 stacks. Similar to Blood and Thunder for protection. Arms only have a few minor bugs. First is the Recklessness from Ward of Torment. This does not increase the rage gain from Blood Surge. However, most other rage builders for arms
Well,
seem to
Blizzard,
work
you
with
guys got a lot to fix, man. You guys
Then we
got
have
a few
Sweeping
days.
Strike bug, which
Chop,
says single
chop.
target abilities will affect a second target at less.
Do you think Red Paladin's Radiant Decree is gonna go through, chat, or it's gonna get nerfed? I feel like it's gonna go through. People are gonna be pooping bricks and crying all over the forum if they don't nerf this, man. You think it's gonna get nerfed before it comes out?
Effectiveness.
Okay.
But if you use this with Rend, the second target will take full damage every time. And the last bug we have is Dance of Death. The benefit from this being a longer duration Blade Storm. Sadly, this will disappear whenever you change a subzone. As you can see in my tooltip, it lasts for 6.9 seconds. But the moment my zone changed,
Radiant Decree is a Red Paladin ability. Instead of Wake of Ash, you take Radiant Decree, and it can crit up to like 250k. It's gonna kill people one shot. And it's been happening in Arena, and they haven't fixed it. They buffed it for PvE, but it's too strong.
it goes down to 4.6. The buff will still remain though, as if it was still working. Of course I tested this, and in practice it doesn't do anything at all. Now, let us talk about things that are oversights, and possibly bugs. We have Hammer of the Righteous versus Blessed Hammer for Protection Paladin. Blessed Hammer is better in almost every way. It has 1 extra charge, which is massive for holy power gain. It can be used when you're not close to your target, does better AoE damage, and even have damage reduction in it, if it worked as intended.
Fuck these pussies, dude. I love shitting on these noobs.
Nice. Back during early expansion,
His partner's dogs!
Blessed Hammer in the talent
Wait,
tree,
this is Rextroy?
use to replace Hammer of Righteous. it competed with other talents such as Holy Shield or Redoubt. The oversight here is why Blessed
Dude, why does Rextroy sound similar to Arzander and look similar to Arzander?
Hammer, which is superior in almost every way except a tiny bit of single target damage, competes with Hammer of Righteous. The way to solve this would be to give Hammer of Righteous a modified damage reduction effect.
Arzander's one of
Stronger
my
than Blessed
boys,
Hammer.
chat.
Then it could be an ability with fewer charges and more limited, with each charge of it being much stronger.
You know
That,
what
or
doesn't
make
fit
each
me?
Hammer of Righteous generate 2 holy power at once. Touch of Light is probably bugged, most likely the scaling. You see, I remove my weapon and all that happens to the talent is that it does 1 less damage. Makes you wonder how this is going to scale at max level. 130 damage or something? Next up, we have Razorize, the enchant for Death Knight. It says 22% of weapon damage, and these days you would expect that to be 22% of auto hit damage, since most things scale with strength. But it actually does 22% of the listed weapon damage. It is a really low number, which makes you assume it is an oversight, or a thing that never got changed in the past. Talking about weapon enchants, the Apocalypse one for DK is so thematically good. It can reduce enemies' healing received, or damage done and so on, but the effect is really lacking. It's just a few percentage with barely any uptime at all. It isn't even being applied by almost dead ghouls. This enchant could definitely be tuned higher. Death Pact is quite useless at high healing reduction. You see, the healing part of it is reduced, but not the healing absorb. So at high dampening, or if you face a mortal wound effect, the ability will do more harm than good for you. Okay, that's good. Okay, I'll do it. Bam. You see the big absorb, I have 21k absorb on me. 12k and gave me a 21k absorb shield to heal, like absorb my own heals.
How do you like that?
It's
The
like,
suicide if you ask me.
He
yeah,
loves
it is,
that.
that's the thing. This should probably be changed, so the healing absorb effect scales with the heal from Death Pact, instead of your max health. Also,
That's
about maximum
nuts.
HP heals. Some percentage based healing is not scaling with versatility, such as the Protection Warrior Indomitable talent, or the Desperate Prayer ability for Priest. While others, such as the talent Second Wind and Last Stand, which does the exact same thing as Desperate Prayer, are scaling with versatility. So are percentage based healing supposed to scale with verse or not? It's really inconsistent. Last oversight I want to bring up is Storm of Steel. It is really weird that it does 4% less damage, for some more rage gain and an extra charge. During longer boss fights, when you use it off cooldown, the
I
talent
love
would
that
make it do less
throwing thing.
damage than if you didn't spec
Is it
into it at all.
Ravager?
If it also gave you a lower cooldown, it would make
Oh.
more sense. Well, that was all for this video. I hope you all thought it was interesting
great
to
cover.
deep dive into bug finding. As I said earlier, if you know any bug or oversight you want me to bring up,
Keep up the
feel
good
free to
work.
leave a comment, and stay tuned for more.
What?
Reason.
Dude, this happened exactly in Classic WoW.
Oh yeah, it did that. Wait, it
Enhancement,
didn't even character.
Evoker,
All the stuff
Hunter,
though.
Monk,
They never fixed
What a
Frostmage.
shit, boss.
Blizzard, don't call the beta test, call it Rextroy test. He will do the job for us. Actually doing the world a favor. Thank